Welcome to another episode of Position of the Week. I have no idea what number we are up to now, but once again we have flown in Renier on our private jet, which we bought from the money from all the subscriptions to killerchesstraining.com.
Things are going well.
Things are going well. How was the donkey ride here? So anyway, if you want to get better at chess, please join us at killerchesstraining.com. We are a friendly place, we're a happy place with players of all levels, and we have some great trainers. Unfortunately, they could not be with us today, so you will have to do with Renier and myself. So this time around, we are dealing with a slightly more difficult position than we have done in the past. Because I made sure that you were only giving me easy ones, and now I'm giving you a hard one just out of the blue.
I'm looking at this, and
it's not so obvious, but yeah. So this is a little more difficult than most of the other positions we have done, and it's not necessarily something that can be calculated to the end, but it is about finding the future here, the path
right
forward.
direction. Yeah.
So it's a nice little position. This is what I call a critical moment. How would you define a critical moment?
Well, probably a position where my move would make a significant change into the position, maybe gain significant advantage or something like that. That's how I would define.
Okay, I think you would, in chess you can only make your position worse, you cannot make it better. It's sort of one of the standard ideas of Steinitz, without going too much into history. But there will be moments where if you don't play well, then you are spoiling your position. Maybe you're given a chance and something like that. There's a few indications that you could be in a critical moment. Usually if things are hanging.
Yes.
If you're playing a dynamic position and all the pieces are ready. Now here, I don't know what the rook on a1 is ready for, but I don't know about you. Have you ever tried to go out and there's one person who just can't seem to get ready, and in the end you just like, they can take a taxi and you just leave?
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's the case for rook on a1. There's also like, if you have a field like there's a shot, like you see a tactical option, but sometimes that's the case. So anyway, you should try to think along together with Renier here and see if you can find a good way of playing. And then
so what I'm going to do is talk about what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. So I see that I have all my pieces ready, and that black is threatening more or less to get out of any possible trouble. Something like bishop takes on a2 and moving the queen to d5 looks very good. So the position is attractive for white at this point because I have this pressure on f7 and all my pieces are pointing at e6. This constellation of f7 and e6 looks weak, and it feels like I can do something right now, and I'm calculating things like direct moves. Knight f7 is my main candidate at this point, but also there are other ideas. I wanted to think about c4. Yeah, these are my two main candidates, and then I'm
knight e6, pawn e6 doesn't work.
You
probably saw this.
Yeah, 96, pawn e6, and it didn't work. This is the other idea.
You saw it and you didn't mention it, I think is what happened.
Yeah, I actually considered it, but yeah, no, it doesn't work.
No, because bishop takes, pawn takes, and queen takes knight. That would be great.
That would be great.
It's just not happening.
No. So I'm thinking that I'm not sure what's happening, but I really like the move c4 in this position.
Should I try to play something for black then? I play pawn takes c4.
All right, d takes c4.
So bc4, dc4, bishop takes f3.
And you're saying that I'm not
Knight f3,
knight
bishop,
f3.
bishop f6. Now is your bishop good on a2 or not?
No, it's not great. It's not great, and possibly I was thinking that in that position bishop a5, but it's possibly
But
not.
still knight d4, knight d4, bishop d4, black plays e5.
Yeah, I agree with that. You trade all these pieces I didn't want to trade. Yeah.
And the pin on the knight on b6 is not so bad because you can play rook c6 and then move the queen wherever you want.
Yeah.
Let's try to put this on the board just because we do understand that for some people the horizon of how far they can see. Here, this is really the important defensive move for black. If the bishop goes anywhere else, you have these knight f7 on here. And if you take with the queen here, then both the bishop and the knight is hanging. So the knight must take. And then this is a very important move. This piece wasn't doing much. It's now coming in, threatening things, threatening to take here right away, maybe. I don't think this was a great move. I think rook ad1 is maybe even what was played in the game. But the idea here is something like this, and black's next move is going to be e5.
Yeah.
And you can reroute the bishop, and it's not like it's gone forever, but black has very good play in the center. The position is quite fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this was a reasonable thing to think about. We should mention here, we're thinking aloud. So this is not what Renier would play. This is just the thing he was investigating. By the way, we have ever done the show Thinking Aloud? We have done it quite a few times together.
Yeah.
I've done it with other people. Last I did it with Mickey Adams. That was very nice. And we've done it with Gavin Jones. And Sabino, I've done it with, I think. You've done it with Sabino as well.
Yeah.
So it's, in Thinking Aloud, we get each other's positions and we sort of share the thought process. And everyone can think aloud, along. Only the teachers think aloud. You can think aloud as well, but no one will hear you. Or the people who hear you, you don't want to know what they're thinking. So what are you thinking at the moment here?
Well, I'm thinking if knight f7 will actually work, and after king f7, I have knight e5, but then I'm kind of blockading my own pressure on the e line. Something like king g8, and I don't see the way through. Oh, now I'm seeing something.
So can I say something then?
Yeah.
Because what you just did was you combined your ideas.
Yeah.
So one of the key things of a chess calculation is to always be able to change your move order. And I wrote about this in Excelling at Chess Calculation back in whatever 2004. It's published. That section was written quite a way longer. So that's about 20 years ago that I wrote it, but I've known it for longer than that probably. And I just do it so automatically these days. I have an idea. I just automatically just go through the various move order. Idea. So here you are going to go
knight f7 first.
Knight f7. Okay.
F7.
Okay. So we should just mention that something like this here, which is it's not a variation, comes here. And if here we can take the queens.
Yeah.
Otherwise, knight h6 is better for white. Let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that.
Also, after bishop d5, queen f5 also looks good. We only need one way. So here I must take.
And now c4.
And now c4. So now, what is different from before is the knight on g5 is no longer hanging. So you see here, here's my main lines here is bishop f6, but let's say pawn takes, take back.
Bishop f3.
And if bishop f3, okay, knight c4 is possible, but okay, white is very happy. So here we have bishop f3.
Now we take on e6.
And take on e6.
And here we can play bishop a5, or we take on f5 immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, and king g8 or bishop f6, bishop c3, and here the bishop on f3 is in trouble. So this is clearly a bit more complicated. The bishop must go somewhere, and now it's bad news. Yeah, really bad news. So the variation is a bit long, but actually I think for for less experienced players, let's say 2100 flat, the problem could be very easily that they would sort of stop here, piece down, or maybe even earlier, like I'm a piece down. But for a player, or a grandmaster, or a player with 2 grandmaster notes, peak rating of 25, quite a bit, and too many draws to be a grandmaster for some reason. No, a grandmaster level player. That's what I'm saying. We just have learned that you don't stop in the middle of a variation where everything is hanging, and this is the first moment where everything's not hanging. And in calculation, it's very important not to stop with a feeling, because basically impulses are entirely unreliable. You just don't want to trust them. So I'm sort of wondering here. I finished my variation here, winning. I was sort of thinking here, there's still a little chance to mess it up in this position.
Yeah, you can mess it up with queen e5.
Yeah, so this, I was just seeing that this was a trick. So here we have to find a different way. So the variation is maybe a little bit longer than I thought, but I know I can say the win easily, and so can you, I think.
Yes.
But for some of you, maybe this is still a challenge. So press the space bar if the last thing you did was press play, and then think for a moment. How does white win here? Very easily on the spot. A few moves.
Queen e6, king f8,
Yeah,
bishop takes e6.
You're right, but I sort of wanted to give this little pause thing here. But okay, this is also what I saw. Now the threat of mate, and now white got rid of the bishop, so now bishop f6 is no help at all. And okay, we can check. Yeah, checkmate. So this was a bit more tricky, but this is very often how long variations turn out to be actually constructed with a few small building blocks, which are ideas. Let's go back to the beginning and just let me explain exactly what I mean. So in this position here, the building block is the feeling, first of all, of a need for action, because black's about to take on a2, and that will solve so many problems. It's now or never. This is what we call dynamic advantage. In a movement, it's gone. The problem was with c4, it was just too slow. And a key element of attack is always this momentum thing. You have to play with great energy. And for this reason, you had to come up with this idea of giving the sacrifice and then playing this necessary c4 move. So after, okay, here there was a whole variation with bishop f6 and stuff like this, but really this is not something that during a game we would worry about. Okay, I get my piece back, and exactly, I get all these nice options. It will work out, but during the game we would worry about this. And then okay, this here we don't worry about either. But then you sort of made it to here, and you expect to be winning, and then it's like, oh, I still have a piece winning. And here you're saying bishop a5, and this would be another moment to think. But actually, it's like bishop c3, and the bishop has to go to back here. There's just no choice. And then this gives us a winning attack. And again, here, and probably during a game, you sort of think, oh no, did I blunder? Queen e5, bishop f6, and you'll be like, oh no, I go here. And it's all okay. Of course, we stop here.
Yeah.
Bishop f6, you know it's going to be fine. Okay, so thank you for watching, and if you want to improve your chess, killchesstraining.com. And if you just want to be happy, then smile at the person next to you and try not to look creepy. Bye-bye.